So here we're planting the tree onions. So the first stage is to lay them out on the bed. So that's what's happened here. We've laid them out at around 15 to 17 centimetre spacing. This bed has had some very nice compost, some very well rotted cow manure, and some chipped tithonia and some calcium. And you can probably see that they're kind of laid out. They're actually on a diagonal spacing, which is maybe a little bit difficult to see here. They're triangulated basically, you can see there. Yeah, and we lay them out first and then we'll plant them shortly. So now we've planted them, so we just made a slit in the soil. You know, we had them all spaced out, made a slit in the soil, pushed it in so that just the top of the bulb, the very, very top point of the bulb and the stalk is showing, and that's how we plant them. So here Hannah's mulching the bed with ramial wood chip. So for those of you who don't know, ramial wood refers to the small twigs and branches of deciduous trees, and the difference between chipping that ramial wood and chipping like trunk wood is that trunk wood is like mostly carbon. Ramial wood has a much better carbon nitrogen balance, so it's better as a mulch and rots down quicker, whereas trunk wood, which is almost all carbon, tends to rob the soil of nitrogen. So we've mulched it with the ramial wood chip. The ramial wood chip was made from mostly poplar, but also some willow. We find that using wood chip as a mulch has many advantages. One is that we've actually got lots of it, so we can cycle it around the farm. We feed out willow and poplar to the cows in the summer, and they eat all the leaves and they don't eat the small branches, and so we can then chip that after they've had it and store that for use later. We coppice the willow and the poplar to create lots of biomass that we can use for this. We used to use hay as a mulch, but there were disadvantages with hay I found. One was that you're constantly bringing a weed burden back into the garden, and the other one is that in really wet winters, which we tend to have here up in Hokianga, if you use hay it can kind of felt, and it actually sheds the water rather than allowing the water to percolate through, whereas the wood chip, it protects the soil and stops that kind of compaction from the heavy rain, but it allows the water to percolate through, so it doesn't have that felting effect. So yeah, so it's a really good mulch to use. So that's the bed finished, planted and mulched. The reason for the nets, the hoops in the net, is because we have lots of pukeko here, and pukeko seem to love going along any kind of allium beds, pulling everything out, checking for worms underneath, and just dropping your onions or your garlic on the bed. And so we net to keep the pukeko off until they've established. Yeah, so this bed's 11 metres long. We get 7 or 8 kilograms a metre usually, and so that would be between kind of just under 80 to just under 90 kilos for that bed.